This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abich, founder of Abich Financial Services.
And I'm Heather Branch here with Abe, talking about ways to help you prepare for your financial future. The retirementkey.com is where you can go to begin your own conversation with Abe and his team at Abich Financial Services. Again, that's the retirementkey.com. All right, so I'm not going to try to put you on the spot here right now on this public forum, Abe. Okay, all right. How often do you abide by the 5-second rule? Food falls on the floor, 5-second rule, picking it up, putting it in my mouth.
It depends on where that food falls. If it's in our house, there's probably a decent chance I'm picking it up and blowing it off and then eating it, depending on what kind of food it is, right? If it's in public, probably not eating that.
I also have a boundary as far as if I can rinse it off easily or not. That's another factor that I consider. But when it comes to the 5-second rule, it is thriving, as it turns out. A new survey shows that more than 40% of Americans will eat something off the floor as long as they can pick it up immediately. Now, that's fine. You want to build up your immune system, you do what you want. However, when it comes to rules of life that we perhaps too often apply to a fault, in the world of retirement, there is this thing called the 4% rule. So let's talk about that. And are you a believer in this approach? And if not, what do you base withdrawal strategies on, especially when the number one concern for retirees is running out of money?
Are we believers in the 4% rule? Well, it's something to be mindful of, and it's something that any retiree needs to know about, because as you stop your wages, as your salary ends, most people need or want their portfolio and their life savings to generate income.
Right. So
the thought of the 4% rule it was developed by a financial advisor 30 plus years ago, is let's just say you have $1 million. Is that some years you'll do way better than 4% of the market. Some years you'll do way worse, but you should be able to make or earn 4% or more on average long term. So if you have $1 million as a nest egg, you should be able to generate $40,000 a year or so. You know, maybe it's 30,000, 35,000, 40,000. It could even be 45,000 in some years, or 50,000. What if the markets are up 20%? You know, and your portfolio is up to 1.2 million.
Right.
Sure, you could take some off the top. So it's something to be mindful of. And I'll explain and show you how, you know, as a retiree, as a new retiree, someone who's considering transitioning into retirement, they want to be aware of distribution methods, distribution percentages, which accounts to tap in for income, and they want to get that right. So we had a couple came in from the Eastern Shore that drove 4 hours total to come in for that complimentary second opinion, $1 million saved. And we found out that the husband's going to be retiring in about 3 years. And if they don't take the wife's Social Security, he has Social Security, a few pensions, that they'll have a $55,000 income gap and shortfall just 3 years from now with about $1 million saved. Well, 55,000 and $1 million is 5.5%. That's getting up there in withdrawal percentages.
Right.
Could we be okay for a few years? Probably. If you don't, care about passing any money on, that might work for you over the course of 20 years or so. But it's starting off at a pretty high withdrawal rate. So we actually recommended the wife take her Social Security. And by doing that, we decrease the shortfall and gap of income 3 years from now from 55,000 down to 35,000 because the Social Security is 20 grand. And 35,000 is 3.5% of $1 million, right? You can make 3.5% right now in a lot of places guaranteed. 6-month treasuries, money market, CDs, fixed rate annuities. A lot of places right now where you can make 3.5% or more guaranteed without any market risk. Now, that's not always the case, but right now it is. So that took a tremendous amount of pressure off of their portfolio by going through all the scenarios. And if you're listening right now and you sound like this couple in the Eastern Shore and you want a complimentary second opinion, a retirement roadmap, testing the math, testing the waters to see if you can successfully transition into your retirement, go to theretirementkey.com. Click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we can begin to have these same conversations with you as well.
Of course, we also have those links posted in the show notes, and you can click there and be directed to the website that way as well. Abe, I'm not trying to make anybody feel old. However, this year, the movie Titanic is celebrating its 25th anniversary.
I remember watching it.
I remember seeing it multiple times in the movie theater. If I just say so myself, that was the thing to do.
Great movie. Great
in the 90s,
movie.
Yep. What's interesting is this child actor who played a very small part is still reaping some benefits 25 years later. Reese Thompson was just 5 years old when he appeared in the film. And he actually still receives residuals worth about $250 a year. He gets a paycheck. It's what many call mailbox money because out of no effort of his own, a check shows up in the mailbox on a regular basis. Thinking about our retirement years, I mean, this is exactly what we dream about, leaving the working world, but the paychecks still come in. Is there a way that we can create our own mailbox money in retirement?
Absolutely. And that's probably not going to be from the stock market because, if you're talking about mailbox money, what that reminds me of is every month you go out to the mailbox or your bank account and it's there, right? Yeah. Just like this actor who's still receiving a couple $100s a month. It just shows up and, it must be guaranteed to some extent. So when I think mailbox money, I do think predictable, reliable, dependable income that you can depend on, right? And so, stock market income could be somewhat dependable. Like if you have good dividend paying companies, dividends could be somewhat reliable if there's a strong history of paying dividends. But when I think of mailbox money, I think of, outside the stock market and more, strategies that we can rely on, depend on without a lot of market risk. Okay. Nevertheless, yes, we can generate that mailbox type of money. And really, when you think about your retirement, this is what you want for your retirement. It just automated, out of sight, out of mind. You're doing everything you want to do in retirement without thinking about, did I get my next deposit? Without worrying about what CNBC looks like Friday at 4:00, right? Like going and living your life. That's what a real retirement looks like, in my opinion. So we just had a couple call in and then come into the office from Rockville, Maryland, and they just retired with $1.5 million saved, a 5 on our risk scale, middle of the road, like so many of our clients are, retired government, all in the TSP and 401k, FERS pension, social security checks, 1.5 million saved, going through their entire plan. Although they've done a wonderful job of saving and getting prepared for retirement, they're investing as if they were 40, 45, 50 years old. Over 90% of that 1.5 million was in the stock market, which made them or helped them get to 1.5 million. But last year they took a pretty hard beating there, -20. And they're like, listen, we know we have enough money now. We can retire with dignity and confidence. We don't need to take on a lot of extra risk. So we recommended bringing that risk level down from over 90% in stocks down to 50, a 50-50 split. Okay. Pretty common. 60-40 split. Pretty common, right? Don't want all of our eggs in one basket. What can we do to make sure our money is there in our 90s? It's going to keep up with inflation. It's going to grow, but it's also going to be as safe and protected as possible in major downturns. That's what our clients want. Sure. So if you're listening right now, and you sound like this couple we just talked about in Rockville, Maryland, and you're wondering, well, where am I with my investments? Do I have enough to retire? Am I taking on too much risk? Am I paying too much in fees? And you're just unsure or not 100% confident in your current retirement plan. It's highly likely you have a phase 1 plan versus a phase 2 plan, right? That phase 1 plan is all focused on growth. Right. A phase 2 plan is focused on protection and growth. So if you're listening right now and you sound like that couple in Rockville, Maryland, and they just wanted a second opinion on their entire retirement plan and portfolio, that portfolio x-ray and analysis, go to theretirementkey.com, click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we can begin to have these same conversations with you as well.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abich. To learn more about Abich Financial Services, visit theretirementkey.com and join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. on WMAL.
Investment advisory services offered through Abich Financial Wealth Management, LLC, number 310633, a registered investment advisor firm. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abich is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abich Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abich Financial Services, Inc., Virginia Insurance License number 127820.